Welcome back. I want to turn now to the course assignments and the grades for this course. Again, remember to download this document and to read it closely as I'm just going to go over this in brief. You'll see all the assignments listed here in this chart and their associated point values. It's out of 1,000 points. One thing I want to point out is just how many points in the class are directly related to the speech assignments, the videos, the outlines, and the topic and thesis statements. Those total about half of your grade in the end. So this is clearly a public speaking class where the public speaking presentations are the focus. Go ahead and take a look at that chart. Here's the grade scale. Notice that we have a plus minus scale. I'll be updating the grade book throughout the semester as I grade your assignments, and you'll be able to check in on those as they're populated. Pay attention to the whole number. You can also, calculate the percentage, but in the end, it is based on a rounding to the nearest whole number, and then this grade scale. So the whole number out of 1,000 is what matters. This explains how you can calculate your score. And just remember at the end of the semester, don't ask for grade adjustments or arbitrary extra points. Your grade is based on performance. It's not based on your effort, how hard you tried, your academic standing, or your financial circumstances. A note about late and missed assignments. The due dates represent the date when you should complete the assignment. So to stay on track, follow those due dates, get them done by those due dates, and then you're doing well. There will be a short grace period before the assignment closes, and typically I'm setting that for noon the following day, so like 12 extra hours. Any work that's missing following that closure date, you should expect a 0. If you need an extension, I generally can give you extensions, especially if you message me before the assignment closes. Typically I don't grant extensions after the closure date, but if you miss a major assignment, it doesn't hurt to reach out and communicate with me about what is happening in your life and why you missed the assignment. Speeches, there will be 3 graded speeches this semester. Our first speech coming in the first few weeks will be a speech of introduction. You're the subject. And this should be a creatively written personal look at who you are. More to come on that. The informative speech will be an informative speech about topics that I'll talk about later. The persuasive speech will be a policy speech, problem solution speech. For each of these speech assignments, I will post to Canvas. In the modules, you'll find the general assignment prompt and the rubric that's also in that prompt, which will tell you exactly how I'm going to score those. Make sure you follow these closely. Make sure you use the rubric as a kind of checklist, because those are the things I will actually be grading, so you want to make sure you're doing those things. There'll be a detailed video lecture that will go over and highlight the expectations for that assignment based on the prompt and the rubric. I'll also give you sample speech outlines for each of the speeches, so you'll get kind of sample student speech for modeling, what the formatting of your outline might look like, how long typically to expect these outlines to need to be for the time requirements of your speech. For each speech, you will need a 3x5 inch note card, a set of 3x5 inch sturdy kind of card stock, more thick index cards to guide your presentations. Each speech will have note card requirements that are specific to that speech, so please see the speech assignment prompt for those requirements. Note the following speech submission requirements. They'll be due. You're going to have to upload your speech and submit your YouTube link by 11:59. That'll be the due date, and you'll do that in Canvas. You'll provide the YouTube link. Make sure your YouTube video is set to public. I'd recommend unlisted. Public means anybody in the public can see it. Unlisted means only people with the link, like me, will be able to view it. So I'd recommend unlisting your video. Don't set it to private. If you set it to private, I won't be able to access it, and you're risking potentially a missing assignment and a 0. So be sure to set to unlisted, and make sure that you are following the speech recording rules. I'm going to talk about those in an upcoming module on recording your speeches. They do appear in this syllabus, but I'll talk about it in an upcoming module. And make sure you meet the minimum time requirements. There'll be a range that will give you, like say, the first speech will be something like it needs to be, I think, 3 to 4 minutes, and there'll be a absolute minimum time, which if you're below that, you'll get a 0. So pay attention to the prompt and make sure you are not below the very minimum requirement for a graded speech. I won't grade speeches that are below a certain time. Okay. Speech outlines. This is going to be important. You should submit a full sentence, full content outline for all of your speeches. That means that you're writing your entire outline in complete sentences. So it's not bullet points, it's not headers, it's not placeholders, something like talk about my life. You're going to write it out exactly or more or less how you intend to say it. Now I recognize that between the composition of the outline and the rehearsal and the delivery, that things will change, that you might say things differently, but it represents more or less what you intend to say. Create and use one word processing document for each outline assignment. And this is important. Be sure to autosave. Use the autosave function on your word processor so that you can show your work in the event that your outline gets flagged for AI. One defense that you have is you'll be able to show the previous versions of your work so that I can see that over the course of several days, you wrote the speech in an iterative kind of ongoing process rather than generating and copy-pasting the entire speech all at once from AI. So I highly recommend that you use the autosave function and that you use one document, one file for the entire work that you do on each of those outlines. So 3 different files for the 3 different outlines. Note the following submission requirements. In order for me to run the outline files through Turnitin, you need to submit either a .doc, a .x, .docx, or a PDF. So I recommend that you do use MS Word, which is .doc or .x. You can find Microsoft Word at this link. Any CSN student has access to the free entire cloud-based suite of the Microsoft Office, which includes Microsoft Word. If you're using Google Docs, create a copy when you're finished that's converted to one of the above formats. It might mess with your formatting, so I do recommend that if you are using Google Docs that you convert it to a PDF perhaps instead of a .doc, and then check the formatting before submission. And then make sure you hang on to that original Google Doc, which shows your entire version history in your own files in case that I do come asking you to share it with me. Your speech outlines are due, this is very important, a few days, it's about 4 days before the speech video is due. So see the course calendar from when the outlines are due. I collect these outlines before the actual speech so that you rehearse. I want you to have the speech written, and then I want you to have multiple days to rehearse so that you can respect your audience's time, my time, and your classmates' time. I don't ask for it early so that I give you feedback. I won't give you feedback until after I watch the speech. I'll use the outline to help me listen along as you're speaking and give a better, more accurate assessment of your presentation. So I'm grading the outlines for general formatting, and there'll be a rubric for each of the outlines on the assignment prompt. If you do want feedback on your outline, you should email me and give me specific questions, things you want me to look at, and make sure that that's days prior, several days prior. You got to give me enough time to the outline due date, and then I'll give you feedback. If it's close to the due date, I'm not likely to give you feedback. I'm just say go forward. The deadline's coming. So this is also very important. I will not grade your speech video if your outline is not uploaded to Canvas by the closure date. Okay, so if you miss the outline closure date, you will also miss your speech, and that will be a major point deduction off your final grade. You don't want to do that. So make sure you write your speeches early. You rehearse them adequately. Rehearse, rehearse, rehearse. The presentation is where the bulk of the points are, so I want to make sure you have enough time to rehearse. Following speeches 1 and 2, you're going to give some feedback to another student's speech. This will all be done on a discussion board. You'll post a link to your speech, and then on that post, other students will be able to give you feedback. You'll give 2 pieces of feedback to 2 different student speeches on those 2 discussion boards, one for speech 1, one for speech 2. Throughout the semester, there will be short speech exercises. There's 1 short exercise in preparation for each of the speeches. You can upload those to YouTube. They might convert to a YouTube short. And they're just a practice to exercise in a low stake, high reward assignment. And we will also give some feedback to other students' exercise videos, again, using the discussion board just like we do for speeches 1 and 2. For each of the chapters that you read, I'll be testing your reading comprehension and memory and your understanding. And you'll need to use the Canvas lockdown browser. In the modules, there is a page that explains how to download that lockdown browser. You'll need to take that. You'll need to run that lockdown browser. Go to Canvas and then take the quizzes from there. If you are having trouble running the lockdown browser, you can call this technical helplines. The quizzes are available, and as soon as I post them, and you may only take the quiz 1 time, so I don't allow for makeup speeches. In addition to reading comprehension quizzes, there are concept quizzes. These are short answer quizzes. There'll be 3 of them covering multiple weeks of content throughout the semester. We'll take a plagiarism quiz that will go along with the My Coyote Success, also called Student Lingo workshop that you will take called Understanding and Avoiding Plagiarism. The final exam will be at the end of the semester. It'll be 40 questions. It'll be drawn mostly from the quiz questions you've already taken, and a few questions will be slightly altered. I'll give you a study guide. For speeches 1, 2, and 3, a small miscellaneous assignment. I will ask for your topic and thesis ahead of time. This will be the only assignment where I will expect and allow for revisions. I want you to revise it until it gets my approval. So follow the instructions on the pages for your topic and thesis submission, and make sure that you are going down the right path before you before you begin working too much on your speech. Student lingo completion workshops, also called My Coyote Success, and you'll find them on GoCSN at My Coyote Success. It's a tile. We'll do 3 of these. You will get a certificate of completion that will be available through My Coyote Success. You'll take that certificate either as a file or a screenshot, and you'll upload it to the Canvas assignment page for My Coyote Success. There will also be some online discussion boards on various topics throughout the semester, and as well as perhaps a few other kind of miscellaneous graded discussions and assignments. All right, I'm going to pick up with course policies and resources in the next video.